The jury selection is underway in Thief River Falls in the murder trial of Eric Reinbold of rural Oklee, Minnesota. He's charged with stabbing to death his wife in July of 2021. Reinbold's trial is expected to last through the first week of October. For background on this case, here's our report from August 2nd of 2021, 2 days before he was captured in a farm field after hiding out from law enforcement for nearly a month. Two charges of murder have now been filed against Eric Reinbold in connection with the murder of his wife here at their farmstead northeast of Oklee on July 9th. Reinbold has been charged with murder in the second degree, intentional murder, and murder in the second degree. A warning, the criminal complaint contains graphic details. Reading from it, quote, on July 9th, 2021 at around 9:15 a.m., EMTs responded to 10583 340th Avenue Southeast in Oklee, Pennington County, Minnesota, on a report of an unresponsive female. When they reached the driveway, the EMTs encountered a boy on a bike who said his mom was laying on the ground and he was going to get his stepdad, later identified as defendant Eric Reinbold, from his camper down the road. The EMTs continued driving down the driveway and saw another boy standing outside the residence. One EMT saw an adult female, later identified as LR, Lisette Reinbold, lying on the ground near a vehicle. An EMT noticed dirt on LR's face and flies on her. The EMTs radioed that they were on scene and requested law enforcement. An EMT noticed a puncture wound on her neck, near her jaw, blood, a cell phone wedged under a tire, and LR's sandals were off and a little way from her body. Another EMT spoke to the boy at the residence who said he did not know what happened. He last saw his mother, LR, the night before, and he knew she was going to work around 8 a.m. that morning. In a subsequent interview, the boy said he woke up around 8 or 8:30 a.m. that morning and saw that his mother's vehicle was still there. He looked outside and saw his mother laying by the vehicle. His mother's face and hands had blood on them. One of them called their grandfather, who in turn called 911. Sometime after that, the boy's brother left to go to the defendant's camper, and then the ambulance arrived. Law enforcement officers arrived and learned that 3 children, including the boy that rode down from the residence on his bike, were also at the defendant's camper, which is located about a half-mile from the residence. Officers found 3 children inside the camper, but the defendant was not there. Subsequent interviews of the 2 children who spent the night in the camper with the defendant revealed that when they woke up on the morning of July 9th, the defendant was gone. One child reported waking up around 6 or 7 a.m. to go to the bathroom and the defendant was gone. The other child reported that she last saw the defendant at 9 or 10 p.m. the night before. Neither child knew where the defendant went or his current location. One of the children reported last seeing their mother, LR, crying, and that the defendant thought her mother was cheating on him and made him mad. Law enforcement officers found the defendant's phone, obtained a search warrant, and downloaded its contents. Exchanges between LR and the defendant, Reinbold, revealed that tension in their relationship at times, attempts of trying to reconcile at other times, going back to March of 2021. Exchanges between the defendant and LR from June 25th to July 7th of 2021 shows the defendant accusing LR of being unfaithful, demanding sex from her, and fighting over finances. Exchanges between the defendant and LR on July 8, 2021, again revealed the defendant questioning whether LR was being faithful to him, and with LR responding that it is all in his head. The defendant continues pressuring LR for sex with LR, resisting because to their children and her children from a previous relationship were currently staying at the residence. During this exchange, the defendant wrote, "I'm getting worked up because you appear to be lying to me in various ways," and LR denied lying to him. LR pointed out that his constant texting was not healthy for a marriage. LR reminded the defendant that he punched and choked her in 2015. The defendant continued to pressure LR about sex, including clarifying ownership over a part of LR's body. During the exchange, LR writes, "I've been waiting to hear why you kicked me, punched me, and choked me." Later in the exchange, the defendant wanted LR to quit her job, which she refused to do. LR wrote that she cried on the drive home and could not go inside the house until she stopped crying so the kids would not see her. The defendant then asked her if she called the police, and she told her to not threaten him with probation. The defendant also wrote, "But divorcing our sex life is unacceptable." LR informed the defendant that the kids were going to have supper and she was going to bed. The defendant continued to pressure her for sex. The defendant later came to take two of the children with him back to the camper. There were no more exchanges between the defendant and LR after that. Law enforcement officers spoke to one of LR's friends who reported that LR sent the friend and friend's sister a video via Messenger at 6:36 a.m. on July 9th. The friend said that she sent LR a "What's up" message at 7:26 that morning, but LR never opened the message. The friend knew that LR starts work at 8 a.m. Law enforcement officers later confirmed that she was scheduled to start work at 8 a.m. in Thief River Falls. The distance between the residence and Thief River Falls is about 23 miles. An autopsy conducted on July 10th revealed that LR, Lisette Reinbold, suffered multiple sharp force injuries to her neck, torso, and upper extremities. The medical examiner provisionally determined cause of death to be assassination due to multiple sharp force injuries due to assault, and the manner of death to be homicide. The defendant was not located on the property, and at the time of filing of this complaint, a manhunt is underway because of a federal warrant for violating his conditions of supervision. The defendant is under federal supervision for a December 2018 conviction for possession of unregistered destructive devices, where he stashed pipe bombs on family property, and law enforcement officers later found materials associated with those pipe bombs at the defendant's residence in October and November of 2017. The defendant absconded at the time. His residence was searched for as part of the investigation, and he was arrested sometime later in Kansas with cash and camping equipment. The defendant was convicted, sent to prison, and was released to be under supervision for 3 years. On June 11, 2015, Pennington County Sheriff's deputies responded to a domestic situation at the same address. When the deputy arrived, a defendant was hiding in the nearby woods and would not agree to come out if he had to put his weapon down. A witness to the domestic situation explained seeing LR's vehicle parked and the defendant's parked against it. The witness saw LR try to back away when the defendant jumped into his pickup and rammed LR's vehicle 3 or 4 times. The witness saw LR then drive away as the witness was attempting to call 911. A subsequent interview with LR revealed that she attempted to leave with 2 children and the defendant blocked her vehicle, yelling at her to get back inside the house. LR saw the defendant possessed a black handgun. When she attempted to back up the defendant's pickup, the defendant repeatedly rammed her vehicle with the children inside. She was able to escape a short time later. The defendant was not apprehended that night, and a warrant was issued for his arrest, charging him with 3 separate counts of felony second-degree assault. On September 30th, 2016, the defendant pled guilty to 1 count of second-degree assault and an amended count of endangerment of child by firearm. He was placed on probation for up to 5 years. The defendant subsequently violated his probation within a year by possessing pipe bombs and materials to pipe bombs, leaving the state arrested in Kansas without his agent's permission, possessing ammunition and possessing materials on how to make nitroglycerin, gunpowder, and how to conduct roadside bombings. A nationwide arrest warrant is requested due to the defendant's whereabouts being unknown. Unquote, and that was from the criminal complaint. Again, that was our report from August 2nd of last year, 2 days before he was captured. His murder trial now underway in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. We'll keep you updated. I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNewZ.TV.